Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Janine and I am the artist behind Jeaninidraws. So this weekend we are at TokyoX. TokyoX is an anime convention that is in Houston, Texas. It's in the NRG Center, and I tried to look up some attendance information from last year, but I couldn't really find any except for like the Google AI. So I'm not really sure like the exact number or even like a ballpark. Probably under 10K though. Like I don't think that this convention is worth flying to. It's definitely for locals. So if you're watching this video to check if you should fly into this, do not. I live in Dallas, so I just drove down today, and so I don't have as many expenses as someone who would be flying in. I was actually in Houston last weekend too for Stratosphere, and I am back here for TokyoX this weekend. Hopefully it's a good show. One thing to note during setup for TokyoX, they don't turn the AC on during setup times, during setup day, so it's really humid. It's already like 8 p.m. or something, and it's still really like humid in here, so I'm sweaty. So setup was a little rough, but I'm done and we can go check out my table now. Okay, so here's my setup for TokyoX this weekend. It's a little bare bones right now, just because during setup day at TokyoX, they don't turn the air conditioning on, so it's very humid, very hot, and so I didn't want to leave my stickers out overnight just in case it like makes them curl or something. So I'm gonna do that tomorrow morning instead. Nothing too new at the moment. I did get a lot of restocks in. Luckily, I'll have more to work with, more to sell this weekend. Right now, we'll just come in tomorrow morning and see how setup goes. Hi everybody, so it is halfway through day 2. It's around 3:30, and it's been pretty consistent with sales. I think it's a lot of like smaller purchases. As far as numbers go, I think I'm hitting 50% of what I made at day 1, which is good. So I'm projected to maybe make the same as I did last year. Obviously I'd like to make more, but a lot of the cons recently I haven't been making, like I haven't even been hitting the same numbers as last year. So if I could make the same as last year, I'd be happy. Yeah, I think my sticker sheets are probably the best sellers at the moment, followed by my die cut stickers. I think my charms aren't moving as much as I'd hoped, but I think there are a lot of people who, like, because the sticker sheets are so big, those catch their eyes first and they don't look at anything else. I'm wondering for AX if I should adjust my display to have all of the same fandoms next to each other, because a lot of the people who buy the Persona sticker sheets don't see the charms. Sometimes I'll point them out and they'll be like, oh, like, let me get those too. So maybe it would be worth my time to change the display up a little bit. To talk a little bit about the artist space at TokyoX, here is my table. It is a 6-foot table, and there's actually 2 types of tables that you can buy at TokyoX once you get accepted. You could buy either an inline table or a corner table. So I got a corner table, so I have this side. The other 6-foot table is actually a table split, which is on this side. So Jamie has this inline table, and then I have the side facing all of the food. So here are 2 inline tables right next to each other. There's basically no space. All of the exits are at the end caps, so there's like a little space, so everybody's been walking in and out of here. The width of the table is pretty standard. I can fit 2 grids pretty easily with a little bit of wiggle room on each side. Ignore the mess that we have going on here, but this is the back of the table. So the corner booth comes with 3 chairs. So we have 3 chairs here. We don't really need that one, but Jamie and I each have a chair. And I think the space is pretty okay in terms of like the spaces behind the booths. I don't think we're really encroaching on each other's space, so the space is pretty good. Note that there is no trash cans, but luckily we are very close to one, which is... Oh, it's gone. Okay, they moved it farther down. There used to be one like right here. That is the space at TokyoX. It's 7 11:40 p.m., which is about an hour and 20 minutes until day 1 of TokyoX ends. It's pretty dead. I think all of the people that are lingering around aren't really buying much. A lot of other artists have already closed down and have headed out for the night. So we are probably going to leave pretty soon as well. I just wanted to recap today's sales overall. I did check last year's numbers and I ended up making, I think, probably like 90% of what I made on Saturday. I think I did make a good chunk of cash sales that I'm not taking into account. So just looking at those numbers, I did not beat last year's Saturday. Sticker sheets are still probably the best thing that's been selling. No big changes in patterns there. I also sold a good chunk of shirts, which is really nice. I'm not expecting tomorrow to be much better. I've already made all of my expenses, so I'm happy with that. Good morning, everybody. It's the morning of day 2, which is the last day of TokyoX. We got in maybe 30 minutes ago. I got my coffee. It's not very good, unfortunately. And we parked in the tan parking lot. I think just for future reference for myself and anybody else who might be vending at the NRG Center at any point, at least for TokyoX, the tan parking lot, which is located right behind the NRG Center, is free to park at before 9 a.m. So if you get here before 9, you should be good to just like drive through. I usually try to show my vendor badge, but if you get here after 9, it's $25 a day. I think that's still not like terrible compared to getting like they offer you like a vending parking pass, which is like $65. So I'm like, you might as well just pay the $25 each day because that's cheaper in the long run. Best plan for your money is to get here before 9 so that you don't have to pay at all. Yesterday, I did double check my numbers, and I was only like maybe like $40 off of Saturday's numbers last year. Like I made $40 less this year. Sunday's numbers last year are pretty low, so I'm hoping I can beat that today, but we will see how it goes. I don't think that the line outside was very long. It was pretty sad actually, so I'm not confident that I can hit the same numbers as last year's Sunday. Yeah, I just, it's always like, you just never know how a show's gonna go until you're there. So anyways, I will check back in. I know there's a couple of things that I missed that I wanted to talk about in this vlog, so hopefully I'll get to talk about those later today. So if you are looking into vending at TokyoX, I wanted to go over the application process. So applications this year opened in January, and we got the results actually pretty quickly a month later in February. And once you get accepted, they usually do it in like a couple of waves. So I was accepted in the first wave, and they give you like a link to, it's like an interactive map that you're able to select the table that you want and then pay for it that way. And so I was able to purchase a corner because I was in the first wave, and I chose a spot like right next to the food vendors. I have heard that TokyoX has been very placement dependent. So I think the further you are away from the food vendors and more towards like the corner of the convention hall, the less foot traffic you're gonna get. So there's been several people in the Discord channels saying how slow it's been for them, unfortunately. So that's just something to keep in mind if you do want to apply to TokyoX. I did mention it a little earlier in my vlog, but there are a couple of different tables that you can buy from TokyoX. You can get an inline table or a corner table. So the inline tables, I believe, were about $350 to $400, one of those, and then the corner table is $450. So all of the tables come with 2 badges, but the corners also come with 2 tables. So you get 2 tables, 3 chairs, 2 badges for the corners, and then the inline you get 1 table, 2 chairs, 2 badges. So it is 2 p.m., which is about halfway through day 2 of TokyoX, and it's super duper slow today. There's still like a good amount of people walking around, but I'm just not getting any sales, unfortunately. I checked my numbers and I've only made like 30% of what I've made on Sunday last year. It's pretty bad. I have made some cash sales, which I'm not taking into account. I'm just purely looking at the card numbers. Maybe I'm doing better than I feel like I'm actually doing. So far, not so great for the last day. It's just really interesting because usually Sundays aren't like significantly worse than Saturdays in my experiences of vending. Usually it's not as good as Saturdays, but sometimes it's just like a little bit lower than Saturdays. But like for TokyoX, for some reason, I'm doing like not even half as good as Saturday. I'm just gonna keep selling. Hopefully it'll pick up in the later half of the day, and then we're gonna be breaking down and heading home. As far as like Wi-Fi connection goes, I'm on T-Mobile and I haven't had any issues. I am placed like closer to the outer wall though, so I don't know if that has helped my connection. But I have heard of some other people having issues connecting to their Square terminal. They've been having to take payments offline and then like refreshing to make sure those payments go through. I think the convention Wi-Fi is like $150, so I would actually recommend bringing a MiFi instead because it's going to be way cheaper than that. Personally, on T-Mobile, connection's been pretty good for me. It is also very cold in this convention center, so you should bring a jacket, probably wear some pants. I brought shorts to wear, but then after yesterday I was like, no, I'm just going to wear the same pants. Just keep that in mind if you're thinking about vending in the NRT Center or at TokyoX. We have about an hour until TokyoX actually ends, but we are likely going to start packing up early just because sales haven't been very good, to be honest. There's still like quite a bit of people walking around, but like nobody's really buying anything. So there's already like several artists that are already packing up. And we have to make the long drive home back to Dallas, so we're thinking we might as well just leave an hour earlier and get home an hour earlier. So that's the plan right now. Thank you so much if you stopped by my table at TokyoX this weekend. Despite the slower sales, I still had a good time talking to all of you. And if you reached the end of the video, I just want to say thank you again for watching, and hopefully I can see you in the next one as well. My next convention after this is going to be Anime Expo, and then after that is going to be a local event that my friends and I are organizing together called Vico Pop, and that's going to be at the Louisville Mall. I hope you guys had a good time watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!